Hey guys, did you ever want to know how to make an animated 2D plane in Blender? Well, this tutorial is for you. Hey guys, what's up? I'm Shin0555 here, coming at you with another tutorial video. And today's tutorial is, as you saw from the intro, making animated 2D planes in Blender. So this isn't actually very hard. There is a little bit of a setup process you'll see as we go through the tutorial, but honestly this is not a hard way to make animated sprites as like flat planes that you can move in like three-dimensional Blender animations. So this is actually super helpful, super cool. I've never seen anyone actually like do it this method before, so I don't know if this is like common, but this is the way I figured out how to do it, and I just want to make a tutorial talking about it. So before we get in, some things you know: you need Blender, obviously, and then you also need a image editing software like Photoshop or GIMP, basically anything that will allow you to export an image as like a backgroundless PNG, because that's very important. I will be using Photoshop for this one. In fact, I actually forgot to open it before I started, and I'll also need my calculator too. Bad tutorial, not quite prepped ready, but I think we're pretty good. So anyway, let's get this tutorial started. It's not hard. Also, I'll timestamp the different parts in the video as well. So if you want to, like, or you're rewatching this, you want to just skip to like the parts and how to do it, that is down in the description. I'll timestamp everything. So let's begin. So what we're going to be animating is, let me open up this like explosion texture or sprite right here. I got this sprite sheet off the model resource. This is actually Yang Xiaolong's effect from the game BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle for Switch. And yeah, we're just animating this like explosion. I'm not doing this first one. We're just gonna start from here and go to there. I think it's out of place because this one should be the last frame. I don't know why it's like that, but yeah, that's how we're gonna animate it. And if you want to, I will link this website. It is awesome. It's called the spriteresource.com. It's pretty common. I know a lot of animators know about this that do like flash animation and stuff, but if you didn't know, this is a website where you can get a bunch of sprite sheets. And this one's kind of interesting because each one is its own image, which actually is going to make things a little bit easier. But later on, I'll show you, if you got like a normal sprite sheet, how to work that. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Photoshop, and now I am going to create a new document. I'm going to make it 200 resolution, and then I'm going to just do 1920 by 1920. And the reason why I'm doing this size in particular is because all of these sprites that we have in here will fit into a square. Now, if you had a sprite that, like, say this explosion went out more like left or right, or say you had like a fire pillar where it starts like low and then like will explode out, the way you have to set up this file is you have to make it the dimensions of the biggest sprite. Actually, let me show you right now. So here is a sprite sheet for Sonic the Hedgehog from Sonic Advanced, and this section right here is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. So the way you need to set up this document, even if your sprite doesn't take up the whole thing, you need to set up this first document the size of the largest sprite. So even though like there's a lot of dead space here, you got to set it up here, and you need to place Sonic in the right like orientation on this file. It just so happens the one we're doing today will fit in a square, so I'm making it a square. Just keep that in mind while you're doing that. That is very important for this. I can't stress it enough. It is very important. So we got this. I'm actually going to take a second here and make this like a solid color. Actually, I'm going to make a new layer, make this a solid color. That'll help in a second. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place each sprite individually here by just going to File, Place Embedded, go to my blast folder, and do this one, hit enter, and then just keep doing that for the rest of them. This one, enter, then File, and just so on and so forth. I'm going to do this one last. I think that one should be last. I don't know if they, like, mixed it up or... but for this case, I'm going to do that one last. Oh, I'm going to edit. Place. Then we're going to get the ball of fire, and then it start to, like, disperse. Boop. Like that. And then I'm going to place the last one there like that. Now, again, this is easier because each sprite is its own, like, backgroundless PNG, like, separate file. If you had a sprite sheet like this, what you would do instead of placing it in, you'd, like, copy and paste this into Photoshop, get rid of, like, the green color around Sonic, and then just individually, like, select this sprite, hit, like, Control Copy, and then paste it into here. And you'd basically just have to take them from the sheet. That's really the only difference here. So you like select this Sonic, of course, get rid of the green, and then just copy and paste Sonic into the file like that. Luckily, we don't have to do that. I could just place the things individually. So now that we have all these in this setup file, what we're going to need to do now, and this is where the calculator comes in, is there are 6 sprites here. So from this little fireball all the way up, let me raise the layers a little bit. So from this little fireball all the way up to here, there are 6 layers. So 3, 4, 5, 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make the next one 7 units. So we're going to say like this is like 1 unit. We're going to make this 7 units tall. And the reason why I'm doing 7 instead of 6 is because I want 1 frame of it disappearing. So very simply what we're going to do is listening to the dogs bark at the door in the background. Is I'm going to make a new file. Keep it 200 resolution, or just the same resolution you did it. The width is going to be the same 19 by 20. And then the height is going to be 19 by 20 times 7, which is like 13,440. Is that right? Am I good at math? Oh, I'm not good at putting numbers into a calculator. Times 7. Am I good? Oh, I'm so fucking smart, dude. It's been forever since I did math. Yeah, so 13,440. Oh, that made me happy. I'm good at math. I used to be really good at math. So now that we have this one that's 7 units tall, what we're going to do is I'm going to take this, separate it out right here. Actually, I'm going to shrink it down a little bit so I can see the layers. So I'm going to start with this layer, and I'm going to take the color. So I'm going to switch to the move tool, take the color, and just drop it in here. And this is how I'm going to measure out my units. So I'm going to take one, then I'm going to hold down Alt with the move tool, and move this down a unit. So I got 2 units here. And I'm going to change the color of this one to pink or green. Yeah, let's just do green. I want to avoid using green, but let's just use green. That's a freaking dirty looking. We're going to go blue. There we go. And now I'm going to select these 2 layers right here. Go back to the move tool and just hit Alt. Move them down and then connect them in. Alt, move them down, connect them in, and then do one more right here. So now I have like basically like a ruler going down, so where I could like place in these sprites. That's really all you need it for. I'm also going to merge all these layers together. And then now what you simply do is you could either go up or down. I'm going to start at the bottom and then work our way up. So you're going to want to take the first sprite here and just drop it in, and you kind of have to eyeball a little bit, but just keep it in the middle. If you wanted to use like the ruler tool to get it exact, you could. I'm just going to eyeball it just for the sake of the tutorial. It doesn't have to be perfect here. And you're basically going to just put all of these sprites into this kind of like ruler thing going up. I'll have to go down a little bit. There we go. That's all you do. I know I'm kind of like blocking the layers here with this, so I'm gonna just hit next layer. Boop. Then we're gonna go here. Next layer. Boop. Bring that down a little bit. And then go to the last layer here. Put that in. And again, since this is an explosion, and I want one where it's like clear, where there's nothing, so it animates right, so we have like a frame of like it being gone, we're just gonna do that. So now we don't need this anymore, so I'm just gonna exit out of this. That's good, we're done. And for this one, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna shut off the 2 background layers, and I'm just gonna go to File, Export as Quick PNG. I'm just gonna name this Blast. And just, oh, I went to the folder. I'm gonna say this Blast Ready. How about that? So we pretty much got it. So we don't need Photoshop anymore. That was the whole setup, getting it on the sprite sheet and getting it usable. So now that we do that, we can exit out of this. I don't believe I need the calculator anymore, and we don't need this folder anymore. And now we got our Blast file here. Looks very pretty. So now what we're gonna do is open up Blender here. It might take a second to turn on. I am doing this on like my Surface Pro laptop, which is really good for like modeling and stuff, but like animating, not so much. We're just gonna hit General. I'm gonna switch into this mode right here. I forgot what this one's called, but the non-render one. I'm gonna select everything by hitting the A key, and then I'm gonna delete everything. So now everything's deleted. I'm gonna move up the timeline a little bit too. So there are 2 add-ons that you need for this thing to work, which are both pre-made in Blender, but you do have to activate them. So how to activate them, you have to go to Preferences. So you go to Edit Preferences, you go to the Add-on tab, and the one we need is the Node. So if you type in Node, it's called Node Wrangler. Click that on. That's an add-on that we need. And another add-on is if you type in Image, Import, Export, Import Image as Planes. This is the one you need. Make sure those 2 add-ons are clicked on. You could hit Save Preference after you clicked them on. Exit. And now we're good. So now what we need to do is import our Blast texture. So to do that, we're going to go to Import, Images, Planes. We're going to go to Desktop. I have my Blast ready. And there we go. So I'm going to hit the, on the number pad, I'm going to hit the period key to focus in, and then I'm going to hit 7 to go to a top view. And now you can see this is our nice little sprite sheet. But you can see it's not animatable yet. So what we need to do is we need to get our plane in the orientation of one of these sprites. And what I mean by that is, since we made it from like a square, like I said before, we have to make this plane into a square. So I'm just gonna eyeball this. If you wanted to make it a perfect square, you could obviously do that by like using the measurements on the side and stuff like that. I'm just gonna eyeball it just for the sake of the tutorial. So I'm just hit S to scale, Y, and I'm just gonna do my best to make that look squarish. And it's okay if this is getting all squished and stuff. That's fine. In fact, you can go in this mode to like not even like look at it. So I think that looks pretty squarey. Again, not going to be super mathematical with it, but that's pretty good. So now that this is good, we got it looking like a square. What we can do now is we need to go to our UV editing tab. And I'm going to hit the period key here. And I'm going to hit 7. And you need to move this all the way and go to this view so you can actually see what you're doing here. And now we're on the UVs here. So what you want to do for this UV, and it's very simple, you're going to hit the number 2 so I can just grab one of the lines here. And then I'm going to hit G to move it. And then I'm going to hit Y so I can move it straight down until I get the square kind of perfectly aligned right there. And you can see right here, that looks good. Now you want to try to get it as close to a square as possible, because what we're going to do is, I need to zoom in a little bit. What we're going to do is kind of move this, like this section. We're going to move it up to this one and then that one. So you kind of want to keep it as close to possible. Again, if we were doing like this sprite and you want to put like a little marking where the line in between like these things end, you could put it so you could like accurately do it. Again, for the tutorial's sake, I'm just kind of eyeballing all this. So you're going to make a square and put it around the first sprite here. So that's pretty good. And now you can see when you go to layout, you got just a single thing there. So we're all good in that respect. Now what we want to go to is the shading tab. So for the shading tab, again, I'm going to hit the period key and then 7 on the numpad, both on the numpad, to get here. Right on this little window here, this should be here by default if you didn't like change any of your preset settings. I'm going to hit this little drop down and hit blast ready and just kind of zoom out here so I can see everything. I just had dinner and I just like keep burping. And it's like, oh, I'm so annoyed. It's so annoying, especially when you're trying to do a tutorial. So I'm going to move this out a little bit, and I'm going to hit this little folder icon to drop the view thing down, and we're going to go to timeline here. And then I'm going to just shrink that. I'm going to move this over here so I can actually see the timeline. And we could be right here. We could actually like zoom in way more because we're only going to go like 2 or 3 frames. So I got the timeline here. We got an image of our blast ready JPEG or PNG. And now we got, this is the node tool. So what you need, and this is where the node wrangler comes in, because if you don't have that on, this does not work. You're going to hit Control T right on this one, and then this will pop up. And now what we really need is this right here, specifically. So I'm going to actually click on this and then hit the period key again to zoom in. We only need where it says location, and we only need to mess with the Y value. So what I'm going to do here, I actually could kind of show off like what I mean. So I'm going to hold this, hold down shift, and then you can see we're actually going to scroll through this. And like this is us moving that UV that we set up before, where we made it like just on the first sprite. We're basically going to just move this like that up, and that's going to be how we animate it. So I'm going to hit this back to a 0 value. And what I'm going to do here is just keep my mouse over this and just hit I. So you can see on the timeline, we just made our first frame. And then what I'm going to do is move over 2 frames. So we're on frame 3. And I'm going to click on this. I'm going to hold down shift and scroll my mouse left and right. And the reason why I'm holding down shift while doing that is because it moves it like in increments. Because if you just went to like move it, you'd be moving like too fast through this. So you got to hold down shift for this. So then you're going to keep your mouse over here. You're going to hit I, and then we're going to go 2 frames over, and then we're just going to repeat this cycle over and over again. And again, I'm going to just kind of eyeball it. 1, 2, and then hold down shift. And we're basically going to just go up this sprite sheet. There we go. 1, 2. That was good. Then I'm going to hit I. Then we're going to go 1, 2. And the way I'm moving the frames, by the way, I'm using the arrow keys. If you use the arrow key left and right, it allows you to scrub through the timeline. Actually, I'm gonna hit Control Z because I forgot what frame we were on. Okay, and then that one, I'm gonna hit I. Whoops. You had to be over this when you hit I, by the way, or you're gonna screw things up. 2, and then we're just gonna go to the last one, which is done. And then I'm gonna, whoops. I'm gonna hit I with my mouse over this. That's very important. So now what I'm going to do is, and that's pretty much it. We've pretty much animated our plane here. So we're done with all this stuff. I can actually go to layout here, and I'm going to set this to frame 15. And when I hit play, you're going to see it start animating. It's starting to animate, but it's not animating correctly. It's scrolling up and down. That is a very easy fix. So what you want to do is you want to have all these selected. So you might like click off and they might be gray. Just put your mouse in the timeline and hit A to select all the frames. And now we're going to go to animation. And on animation, all you need to do here is make sure they're all selected, right click, and where it says interpolation mode, you're just going to hit constant. So now when I go to layout here, you see the thing exploding. And you can edit the frames too, and they'd still be constant. So I'm going to zoom in here. Yeah, you can edit the frames too. So again, if it's going too like slow, you could, I guess, move them all in a frame. And again, it's still editable. So I'm going to have them all one frame apart. And now it's like super fast. But that is how you make an animated plane in Blender. And again, it's 3D, so I can just move it here and it still plays. It's a 3D object. So I can like grab it, move it around, and it will still play. You can even like rotate it on the x-axis and it'll still blow up. And you could do this with any sprites, really. Like if we go back to here, you could do it with Sonic running or, whoops. You can do it with like Sonic standing still or Sonic running or thinking or exclamation marking. It doesn't have to be effects or explosions. I think like effects are the way you'd probably want to use this because it's just like easier. And I'm actually going to put this right in the middle here and just scale these out. Whoop. Keep hitting B. And just scale these out back to the way I had it. That was going a little bit too fast for me. So that is pretty much it. And now what you can do is actually file, hit save, and then on desktop, I'm just going to name this Blast Ready. And I'm going to show you some advanced things now that you can do with this the way it is. So if I wanted to extend this out, I'm going to hit 7 again to straighten it out. So this is where we're going to start doing some advanced stuff and like kind of where show you like kind of how to mess with it a little bit. So say you wanted this to be like repeating. You could copy all these iframes and just like copy, like hit Shift D and just move them and do it that way. But say you want like you had like this sprite that's meant to like cycle through and always be moving. You don't always have to do that. What you could do here is go to the animation tab again with all the frames selected, hit Shift and E, and then make cyclical F modifier. So now basically what that does is it just makes it play on repeat forever. Super helpful if you want to do that. And then hit Control Z. I'm going to undo that. There we go. Another thing you can do, which is pretty cool, is you can duplicate this like a normal plane. So I'm going to put one here, and then I'm going to do another here. And they'll all explode at the same time. So as you can see, boom, I'm actually going to set this to like frame 15 again. So they all explode at the same time. Now, if you want to offset them, it's really easy. Since this is all done on the texture, all you need to do is, I'm actually going to extend this out again. And basically the way I'm extending it is you can click on this and then drag your mouse left and right and you can extend the timeline. It actually needs to be a little bit longer than that. So for this one, what I'm going to do is, since it's all done on the texture, all you need to do is hit this little double paper icon right next to this X here. And you know you did it right because it's going to say Blast Ready 001. And you could do the same thing with this one. I'm going to hit the little thing, and it'll say 002. So now, these are actually individual textures that are separate from this one. So if we edit this one, then these two don't change because we hit that button. And what you could do here is just simply grab all the frames and then move them over here. And then for this one, you can grab all the frames and then move them even down even more about there. And then I'm going to set this to like 53. And now you can see them all exploding at different rates. And that's just how you do it. Super simple, easy way. I'm going to hit, we're going to go back. Can we go back? No, okay, wait, one more. There we go. And now I'm going to delete these two. And now we have this one with our normal explosion. And I'm going to make this back to 15 frames. And the last thing I want to show off is this is actually like a plane. So you can move it and rotate it in like 3D space and do all that stuff. But I'm going to hit the period tool to zoom in on it. And now I'm going to rotate it X 90 degrees. So now it's facing up. And I'm going to hit 1. So we're going to be flat. Now, and you can still edit this plane itself. So I'm going to go to edit mode here. And you could like stretch it out. One cool thing I found is you can give it more geometry. So the way we're going to do that is by holding down Control and hitting R. And you'll get this line that appears either horizontally or vertically. All you're going to do is when you see it on the, like I want this one vertically, I'm going to click on that. Oh, actually, whoops. So when you, I'm going to hit Control R. When you see it, I forgot to, you can make, use the scroll wheel on your mouse to make more of them. And then you're going to left click and then right click and they're there. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side where I get this one to appear like this. Use the scroll wheel and then left click, right click. And now we have like a grid on our plane. Now what that means is we can edit this. So I'm going to turn on my proportional editing tool here. And we got to make it real small. There we go. So I'm going to hit 3. So we're seeing this on the side. And since it's a plane, it just looks like kind of like a line. But I'm going to use my proportional editing tool. And I'm going to move this forward like this. And since it has like geometry now, it's going to bend properly. So now you can see it has like a curve to it. And oh, wait, I meant to hit tab. And it'll still play. So again, if you want like an explosion or like a wind effect or something, and it like having it flat doesn't look quite right, you could add some geometry and just kind of like move it and stuff. And also, one of the best parts about this is I'm going to add a mesh. Let's add a cube. Ugh. I'm going to shrink the cube down and then move it back. And I'm going to hit 1 so we're like looking at this like straight on. And you could see the explosion is happening like in front of the cube. And you do get like the backgroundless of the PNG. So there's not like a color behind it. You just basically get this like animated blank text here. And it's perfect. So again, you could put stuff in front of it. And it just works. It just works. It's so cool. So yeah, so I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm going to hit Control Z until this is flat again. There we go. Tab. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the tutorial. Yeah, that's how you make an animated explosion in Blender, or an animated, well, we made an explosion, but how we make an animated 2D plane in Blender. It's not very hard. There is a little bit of setup with like Photoshop, and then you got to put it into here. But oh, and the last thing I want to show off, I almost forgot, is since we saved this as its blend file, so we did all the work for this already. Say you want to, you could make a whole bunch of these. Don't save. So like, say this is a new Blender project that we're working on, and I'm gonna just move this over here. And say you did a whole bunch of these like pre-made sprite animated planes. You could do them ahead of time, pre-make them, and then just go to File, Append. I'm going to go to my desktop where the Blender file is. I'm going to open that up. I'm going to go to Collections, and then Collection. And you're going to see it right here, Blast Ready. I'm going to zoom in, hit 1, and it's that simple. You can just drop them in. So you could do like a whole bunch like pre-made ones and just have them all like animated ready. And you could just drop them in. So you could just do all the work and then like you could just put them into future projects. Just have it saved to its own like project file and you could just dump in the collection and you'll be good. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I figured out how to do this. I've been wanting to learn how to do this for like a very long time. And I finally figured it out. And it's not that bad. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns in the comment section below. I'll try my best to reply to your comments, and hopefully I can answer whatever questions you have in the comment section. Sometimes when you're doing, like, Blender stuff, it's easier to, show someone rather than, like, writing in text. But I will do my best to reply to all the comments. Other than that, I'm Shin0525. Feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I would appreciate that. I do have a Patreon up if you want to help support the channel. You could become a Patreon. Link is down in the description below. Also, if you just really like this video helped you out, and you just want to give me like a tip or something, I have, what is it called? Buy Me a Coffee. You could just do that for like a one-time, like, hey, this was really helpful. Here's like $2. Like something like that. That's there too. I don't get any like money from like YouTube or stuff. So if you want to help out the channel or support in any way, I do appreciate it. And I hope you guys liked the tutorial. If you didn't like the tutorial, fuck you. I don't know. You go make a YouTube tutorial on how to make animated planes in Blender. Fuck you if you don't like it. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, thanks, bye. Hey guys, do you want a nice, simple, easy tutorial on how to make animated 2D? Oh, I